Well, Mark, the sun's shining here in Swansea, but it's fair to say there's a few dark clouds hovering over our two regions at the moment ahead of Saturday's big game at Parc Scarlets.
Yeah, there are. I mean, the Scarlets started the ball rolling in that respect, should we say, with a disgraceful performance against Glasgow a couple of weeks. As bad a performance, really, as you can expect or would have seen from any Llanelli side over the last 15 years, maybe. And not to be outdone, the Ospreys followed it up with one of their worst performances against Munster last week, and again, that was pretty much inexcusable effort, and sort of confidence is going to be low in both camps. So yeah, it's a difficult time for them.
I mean, you were out in Limerick on the weekend, Mark. People expected it to be tough. They knew what a task it was to go to Munster, but no one expected a defeat of that magnitude, surely.
No, they didn't, but it was a very, very intimidating atmosphere, and the Ospreys froze on the day effectively. They were blown away at forward, they didn't control the game, and unfortunately, when Munster picked up the pace a little bit, the Ospreys' defence, which is usually very good, that sort of crumbled a bit, which surprised me a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Johnson's in town now, new director of coaching with the Ospreys. Will he have an effect straight away?
He'll have an effect eventually. He's not a miracle worker, so I don't think he'll have much of an effect for the game this weekend. I mean, at the end of the day, the Ospreys need structure, they need organisation. Scott is not, he may be many things, but you know, he's not going to be able to sort of do that overnight, bring that overnight. And so really they're going to have to run with what they've got. He may have an effect in galvanising players, they may be keen to impress him. But you know, the Scarlets have obviously got an input down there as well, and they will be keen to spoil Scott. They won't be throwing down a welcome mat for Scott.
Not at all. I mean, out of the Anglo-Welsh, out of Europe, both sides still got things to fight for though in terms of the league.
Yeah, I mean, the Scarlets are obviously looking over their shoulder at the Blues and the Dragons. The Blues got 5 games left, and I think 4 of those are in Cardiff. Yeah. So I would expect the Blues to finish above the Scarlets. And then really it's quite sad for the Scarlets that they're scrapping with the Dragons just to avoid the ignominy, if you like, of a play-off against an Italian side. I think they'd probably do it. They've got a 5-point sort of lead over the Dragons. Yeah. I think they'll just edge them. But again, if they carry on with the form they showed against Glasgow, then they could struggle. Yeah. As for the Ospreys, I think they've probably blown their title chances. 11 points behind Munster. You would not expect them to make that up, but Munster may have their sort of eyes on Europe, and they may start to lose their way and focus in the league. You've still got Leinster above them. I don't expect the Ospreys to win the title.
No. We've spoken to both coaches this week. Both say this is the perfect tonic for them, a derby match.
Yeah, I mean, they would say that. Obviously, they can't say a lot else. No. I think it will be good in that it'll galvanise the players, but for the Ospreys, it's going to be ultra difficult because it's really a case of after the Lord Mayor show. Yeah. They would have wanted to be playing at Twickenham this weekend in the EDF final. They would be wanting to be looking forward to a Heineken Cup semi-final. That's not going to happen, so they just got a domestic spat. Scarlets are going to sort of be in their faces all game. So they're very, very tough for the Ospreys motivation-wise. For the Scarlets, well, they need to be fired up. They really do.
And finally, Mark, Ian McGeechan names his Lions squad on Tuesday. Do you expect a few Lions to be on show there at Parc Scarlets on Saturday evening?
Well, Stephen Jones, to certainty, as far as I can see, he would be looking at a test spot. As for the Ospreys, well, if you go on last week's evidence, there would be Tommy Bowe and a few others. Although saying that, Adam had a decent game as well, Adam Jones. I thought Mike Phillips kept going. But really, you can't make judgments just on the one game. I think the Ospreys will supply 5 or 6 Lions.
Shane will go, won't he?
Shane will go. Yeah, Shane is not in great form. He'll certainly go. Alan Wynne, again, didn't have his finest game for the Ospreys last week. He'll definitely go. Ryan, it's a borderline job, but I would take him. I think the guy is a leader. I think he's got a lot to offer. I think Gatlin would have been impressed with him in certain games this season. I think Ryan would probably just edge a ticket.
And finally, Hook.
Again, another borderline selection. I think James may find it difficult, but again, there's nothing cut and dried there. It's almost a flick of a coin job. He's probably competing for that third outside half spot with Cipriani. He didn't have his finest hour, James, last week, but he is a real talent, and it just depends whether the selectors feel, he may be able to do a job for them out in South Africa. But again, it's not definite.